Well, hello and welcome back to another stained canvas. Today I am going to do the Smush Something Colorful on this page from the Wreck This Journal. Um, I didn't want to smush any kind of food or anything like that in my journal because I mean that's kind of gross, right? So I had a leftover palette from another piece of work that I just had finished, and I was like, well, let's just try and do something kind of abstract-y here. And I'm going to be honest, at first I had no idea where this was going. Thankfully, I like how it turned out. Um, but I end up smooshing the palette down and just kind of spreading it around. And then I take a little catalyst type of rubber thing and like smear it around. I also like to make scratchy kind of texture in it with a paintbrush cleaner. And I go in with all my media, so not even just paints. I end up using new pastels, oil pastels, charcoal pencil, like black and white charcoal pencils. I even come back to it after because I thought I was done. I took off the protective, wax paper that I have underneath these pages, and I was like, oh, but then I go back in again with some acrylic paints, and then I finally like the final picture of it. It turns into some kind of like whimsical, kind of like a landscape, really. I try and like fish out kind of a like lagoon or kind of a pond type of thing when this is done. But here you see I just, prep my pages with the regular white gesso because when I do mixed media, it gets really heavy and I'm worried that the page won't survive it. But it ends up pretty good. So gesso goes on, then my palette goes on all smooshy. And then I also cut out the parts where like I dried the gesso with my blow dryer because honestly that's boring and who wants to watch that, right? And then I go in and I start making scratchy kind of things with my paintbrush cleaner, and then I also go in and make scratchy lines with my charcoal pencils and my white charcoal, and I end up kind of, it takes a while, but I coax out a really neat kind of landscape in it. I end up also, like I said, like I'm mostly trying to do values. So when I see some darks, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to lighten up this area and make it contrasty. So you'll see kind of the center of the page horizontally. I try and fish out and make it lighter there. And then I kind of have like a horizon line where you would see on the opposite side of the pond, maybe the greenery shooting up. Like it takes a while to get there, but I finally do it, right? Because when you're starting to smush stuff onto a page, you really don't know where it's going to go. So I do like it though. I like the scratchiness of it, and I like the, you could kind of tell that's a plant over there and across the pond, and it's not very clear. And you could tell the bottom right hand corner that's some kind of like grassy bushy kind of thing. And like I really do kind of like how this turned out. I fished out the sky, so I added lighter at the top part of the pages. Towards the the top half, I added more of a sky, and once you get to about here you could kind of see it's really coming together. You could see the values popping out. The sky's lighter, then there's that row of like plants and stuff, and then in the water part I try adding horizontal lines just to show that, yeah, this is the glimmer of water kind of thing. And I put a big old tree on the left side, kind of taking up the entirety of the left side edge. But then I end up kind of not liking that and I add more to it. So I add more acrylic inks and things like that. So I also use like my palette knife to smoosh more of this paint in. This paint ends up being so thick on this page, it's kind of amazing. Like it's its own film kind of thing. But yeah, as the more I go, more adding to it and just kind of exploring what my pages that are turning into. I really do like it. I like the scratches out of like the sgraffito I've done. Just all the wispiness I've done to it. So yeah, if you want to give it a try, if you have a sketchbook, go ahead. Just layer upon layer. So bye for now. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.